The most important step we'll ever take in life is our next one. But a lot of us get our feet stuck in concrete. We get our feet stuck in concrete because we're afraid to make enemies. We're afraid to speak what's on our mind. All that fear clouds your brain, clouds your thinking. One thing in life, you're gonna always have haters. Embrace them.
The key to freedom is knowledge. And the key to knowledge is truth. The key to knowledge is truth.
It's possible for you to live your dream. It's necessary that you associate with winners, that you work your system, that you are relentless, that you never give up. It's you. You've got to take personal responsibility. You've got to make it your personal business to make it happen. And you've got to resolve within yourself that I can do this, that it's hard, but you've got to say, I'm the one. But you know it's going to be hard, but find out what will make it worth it for you.
Fear is normal. Every person feels fear at some point. What should you do? Step. Take the step. Step aggressively toward your fear. That is the step into bravery. We are scared of what we don't know. And there is but one way to confront that fear. Step. Go. And that simple action, this simple attitude answers so many questions. How do you get to the gym every day? Step. Go. How do you change your diet? Step. Go. How do you overcome fear of failure or fear of success or fear of fear itself? Step. Go. How do you face the fear of the unknown? Step. Go.
We're built to walk uphill. And when you reach the pinnacle of the hill, you want to stop and appreciate the vision, but the next thing you want is a higher hill in the distance, because it's the uphill climb that, it's from the uphill climb that we derive our value. You want a goal that you can never attain, right? So you can always move closer to the goal that recedes as you move towards it.
Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No, 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 no. Instead, be aggressive. Take action now.
Spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, in the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it.
There are many ways to get the things that we want for ourselves in our lives. But basically, it all begins with how we choose to think. As you think, so shall you be. 7 little words that I think are perhaps the most important things that we can learn and master in our lives.
Because as you pursue that goal, you put yourself together and your life does get better and richer and more abundant. And that's why the highest levels of virtue and goal are in some sense transcendent. You want them to be above everything you're doing so you can continually move towards something that's more sublime and better. That's what you are. You're here to live, not to sleep.
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Because you grew up in a household with dysfunction, drama, mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional abuse. Doesn't mean that that's the outcome of what your life, your career is destined to be.
And what I know for sure is that the biggest choices begin and end with you, your internal big questions. Who do I want to be in the world? My relationship to source energy, to all that is God. I'm not talking about what you believe in God. I'm talking about your experience of that which is all life, which is divine and universal. I'm talking about the big deal. Being connected and aligned with that. When you are tuned in and charged into that, whenever you feel empty, you go inside yourself and you connect to the source, and you know that all things are possible.
Have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing. One of the central principles of my life is that no one knows enough to be a pessimist. When we close our mind to what is possible for us or what is possible for humanity, closes off the genius that resides and lives in each and every one of us.
Every man has two lives, and the second starts when he realizes he has just one. It's like a happy person wants 10,000 things. A sick person just wants one thing. It's your unlimited desires that are clouding your peace, your happiness. Every desire you have is an axis where you will suffer. So just don't focus on more than one desire at a time. The universe is rigged in such a way that if you just want one thing and you focus on that, you'll get it. But everything else, you gotta let go.
Life and ambition and the need to know what we're doing and to always have a clear delineated path and to always be 100% certain on what we're doing and why we're doing it is not true, and that's not necessary at all. What's important is that you're present with what you got right now, what you're doing right now, and you do it for the sake of doing it in this moment, and you don't think about the future. Because there is no future and you don't know how things are going to unfold.
Ladies and gentlemen, go into action with your dream. And don't avoid where the fights are. Get in the midst of the fight. Get knocked down so you can learn how to fight, so you can hold your position. See, most people don't get out in the arena of life because they don't want to fight. Most people don't get out there because they don't want to get knocked down. They don't want to be dropped to their knees. But see, you're going to be dropped whether you're on the field or whether or not you're sitting on the sideline.
What you are looking for, what you need, is self-discipline. Self-discipline, as the very name implies, comes from the self, you. It comes when you make a decision to be disciplined. When you make a decision to be better. When you make a decision to do more and be more.
It's like discipline yourself in one dimension. See what happens. Well, that's exciting. The best we have might not always work, but it's still the best we have. And the fact that it might not work doesn't mean we should throw it away. It's still the best we have. I mean, everyone dies, and so we fail in some sense. The fact that a symphony ends doesn't mean that it wasn't worth listening to.
No one's coming back to help me. So it starts with that person in that mirror. You have to realize you are on your own now. on earth, it's a very lonely journey. And it starts with the accountability mirror, looking at saying, hey, my dad who beat the hell out of me is not coming back. All these things are coming back. I have to face myself. And you have to own all those things that people may have done to you. Now it's yours. You gotta own it. It's yours now to fix the problems that people did to you. It makes no sense. It's not fair. I get it. But if you live in that woe is me mentality of guess what? My dad did this to me. My mom just did to me. People who bullied did this to me. You're gonna always live right there.
Motivation is very ungrounded, right? It's all up here. Whoa, I feel good. But when it comes time to bring it into practice, you cannot rely on it. Motivation is just a feeling. Grounded action is what gets things done. When you have built a habit, it's ingrained in your nervous system in such a way that the brain doesn't even have to consider whether or not it'll get done. It just gets done. Commit once. You don't need to commit more than once. You commit once to the thing that you're going to do, and then you do it every single day. It's not the grand visions, it's the tiny actions that move towards a worthy ideal.
What makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change, though. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Nobody's journey is seamless or smooth. We all stumble, we all have setbacks. If things go wrong, you hit a dead end, as you will. It's just life's way of saying, time to change course. Every failure, every crisis, every difficult time, I say, what is this here to teach me? And what I found is that difficulties come when you don't pay attention to life's whisper, because life always whispers to you first. And if you ignore the whisper, sooner or later, you'll get a scream. Whatever you resist persists, but if you ask the right question, not why is this happening, but what is this here to teach me? What is this here to teach me? It puts you in the place and space to get the lesson you need.
So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things.
There is nothing that's ever good enough. The only thing that's enough is at the end of the day, the nth hour, the final hour, whatever you're going for, that your hand is raised victoriously. That's when you know it's enough. It will never go your way, guys, if you're saying today is good enough. If you never say good enough today, I promise you tomorrow will always be enough. Whenever good enough isn't enough, you can bet tomorrow you'll have enough. The way it is for you is blood, sweat, and tears today to create a foundation of strength for tomorrow. Those days combined into whatever dream you want to be a reality.
It's not the critic who counts. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short and short, time and time again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows great enthusiasm, great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring to be great, so that his place shall never be with the cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
There's so many times in life you don't want to be doing what you're doing. You can't just quit. Remember this, it's in the hobby, it's in the joke, it's a lifestyle.
Engage. Engage. Weakness is strong. I must be stronger. I must crush it into submission through force of will. So I savage the body. I push and pull and fight against gravity. I fight against fatigue and soreness and the weakness that says, give in. I will not give in. I will fight.
You gotta rise up. You gotta make your dreams a reality and live a damn masterpiece. You know this. Make a decision. What's the decision? What's the thing you came here for? Now we're at the moment. The clock is ticking. Life can be long. You bury your dreams, you quit this, life gets long. It's only a thought if you don't take an action. The difference between a thought and a decision is an action. So we know and you just decided, and you know what it is. You know what it is. A decision you've made, something you do that you follow up with the action to make it real.
What we don't do is we don't go inside. So literally turn yourself inside out. Read the book that's like we're writing a book every day of our lives, but we never read that book. So what I would challenge this young man or young woman to do is you have to look inside of yourself to see what you really want. What are you passionate about? So when I speak from passion, I speak from experience, I speak from suffering. That the only way I believe, this is my experience in life, the only way you're ever going to get to the other side of this journey is you have got to suffer to grow. To grow, you must suffer.
Commitment is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood that you said it in has left. Commitment is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood that you set it in has left. Like I know when the mood is right, we hype, we talking, we high-fiving, we talking about what we gonna do, and then we get in that certain moment of adversity, that certain moment of truth, and it tests our character. And the thing I love about adversity introduces you into who you really are as a person.
But you can only do that through the struggle of life. And most people avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding pain. And when you go through life like that, something in you dies. Something in you that you never activate is lying dormant in there, that you never get a chance to call on because you have not challenged yourself. Somebody said, the land of familiarity belongs to the dead.
But sometimes in day-to-day life, you can lose track of the long-term goal. It fades from your vision. It slips from your mind. Wrong. I want that long-term goal to be so embedded in my mind that I never lose sight of it. Ever. And the little tasks and projects and short-term goals that you tackle need to lead towards strategic victory, winning the long war.
When you get tired, when you get fatigued, when you get down, when you're in a slump, it's your habits, rituals, routines, and your standards that carry you through. And if you don't have good habits, you don't have good rituals, you don't have good routines, always in your life you will fall down in bad times, in slumps and fatigue and in stress.
I'm telling you that, look, you can't activate life. You can't begin to experience life in the way you want to experience. You can't have it. You can't be it. You can't do it until you activate it. Until just it's all in there. All your gifts, all your talents, everything you need to do to be what you've been called to do, what you've been birthed to do. You can't do until you activate it, until you recognize you matter. Everything about you is great, but the problem is you have consciously chosen to be average.
So what you say to yourself is important. There's no fucking coach, there's no trainer to keep you going, it's only you. The whole thing is this. Don't say a word. Stay uncommon amongst uncommon people. You're never done. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Stay hard.
Once you begin to discover who you are, then you really realize how you have been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including all the dimensions of your life.
In other words, when the outcome changes and it's not where we want it to be and it doesn't turn out the way we want it to turn out, do we still value the thing that we once said we value? Is our character still intact? Right? Because we all know it. Character is not something we inherit. Character is something we got to wake up every single day. We got to fight and we got to build it. In the midst of opposition, in the midst of challenges, in the midst of uncertainty.
Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps that goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it. Do it. Make it happen. Because that goal isn't going to achieve itself. It is all on you.
Your life's task, as I call it, is to return to those inclinations and to that uniqueness that marked each and every one of you at birth. Whatever age you find yourself, you must reflect back upon those earliest inclinations. You must look at those subjects in the present that continue to spark that childlike, intense curiosity in you. Based on these reflections, you determine a direction you must take.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there's great power in adversity. If you're a victim of any kind, make sure you use that to become successful. Don't look for revenge, look for the reckoning. And I guarantee you, all those people with you growing up, you might just be the boss.
Don't go around telling people what your story is. Everybody has a story. 80% don't care and 20% glad it's you. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it?
Begin. This is where it begins. In the darkness, before the sun and the birds and the world, every day. When the alarm sounds, it's time. Rise. Despite fatigue and soreness, curse the warmth of the bed. Curse the comfort of the pillow. Fight the temptation of weakness. Get up and go. Do it quickly, without thought. Do not reason with weakness. You cannot. You must only take action. Get up and go.
Let me tell you something. You keep burying those dreams, the longer you wait, the harder they are to find. It's time you dig those things out right now and find them and put them right in front of you again and go chase them. You can have a great family and a great business and a great financial situation and feel great about yourself and travel the world and do whatever the heck it is you want. But you need to dig those dreams out right now.
Most folks know what they dream about and what they want. And yet, they're spending all of their time and energy arguing against what they want. And so you can have all these epiphanies, but it's not gonna mean if you don't take action and do something about it. The aha moment is the door that opens. But your new life does not begin unless you step through the door. That there is somewhere in your life that you know what you want. You can feel it pulling you, and you are actively arguing against it. You're bringing yourself down. You're beating yourself out.
I got it now. I understand now. You are attracted to greatness because greatness is all in you. But it's easier to watch greatness. It's easier to go see greatness than it is to put in the time, to put in the energy, to discipline yourself, to sacrifice. It's easier. And so that's why you average. And so you're frustrated because you're not living like you should live. No, you don't have what you should have. You're not being who you should be. And so that's why you don't want to wake up in the morning. That's why you pissed off with Monday, because Monday is the day that you're supposed to go mold and shape and create your greatness. That's why you like Friday. I get it. Because Friday you get to chill. You don't have to face yourself on Friday. You don't have to face yourself on Saturday or on Sunday. That's the day that everybody is partying. Everybody's drunk. Everybody gets to forget that they didn't become who they were supposed to come during the week. That's why. I get it now, but I challenge you. Listen to me. I challenge you. Why do I challenge? Because I know you can't. I know, listen to me. Some of you, you're not even in the game. Can you do me a favor? Get in the game. You could be great if you just showed up. Get in the game.
That is you. That is you. That no one can do it for you but you.
You know, what you allow is what's going to continue in your life. It's hard to accept this, but what's happening in our lives, we're allowing it to happen. And to some extent, we almost believe we deserve it because we produce in our life what we really believe we're worth, what we really believe we deserve. And it's hard to accept that because it seems coincidental, you know, that the wrong person entered our life, or there was a business setback, or our car broke down, and it seems coincidental. But you really truly are getting out of your life what you believe you're worth, what you believe you deserve, and you're allowing it to happen. And I'm gonna challenge you today to stop that. Stop allowing it and know that you deserve better.
Those steps for success, they're infinite. They are infinite. You cannot count them. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, those steps are constantly shifting. You don't know if they're there. Sometimes you have to trust that the next step is going to be there when you can't even see it.
Hold the line. Instead of going backward, instead of decaying, get stronger. Get better, grow and learn and develop and live. Live in defiance of the weakness and in rebellion against the decay. Fight them as they creep in with their offers of instant gratification and immediate rewards. Fight them for every inch they try to take. Do not surrender any ground ever. Hold the line.
If the guiding light in your life is that you only do and believe that which moves you towards your goals, when you get into that loop of beating yourself up and thinking that you're worthless or that you're never gonna make it, remember that. That belief does not serve you, and you don't do things that don't serve you.
And even though you face disappointments, even though you will experience some setbacks, it goes with the territory. You must understand that. It's not over until I win.
Begin. You know, I hear that a lot. Like, where do I start? I would say there is huge power in beginning. There's huge power in starting. It's almost like the universe begins to support you when you take that first step. I would say believe in you when no one else believes in you until the whole world believes in you. I think the reason why we even have the question of where do I begin is from fear. We're paralyzed. So it's start to believe in yourself and realize all the great heroes were anonymous for 25 or 30 years before the world celebrated them.
Turn your wounds into wisdom. You will be wounded many times in your life. You'll make mistakes. Some people will call them failures. But I have learned that failure is really God's way of saying, excuse me, you're moving in the wrong direction. It's just an experience.
So what's the fucking excuse? Is it too cold where you live? Is it too hot where you live? Does it rain too much? You're allowing people and things and situations to on space in your head, you're losing. Last thing, life's one big head game. You play with yourself. If you lose, it's because you allow life to get in your head. Stay hard.
Listen, if you're on a quest to be a better version of you, I promise mistakes are going to be made along the way. If you don't want to wear someone else's name on the back of your jersey, if you want to live life to the fullest, if you don't want to see a video at the end of your life of the woman that you could have been, then we are going to make mistakes. We are going to fail. That means that you are moving forward. If you don't have any mistakes, then I'm sorry you didn't try enough. You're playing it safe and nothing is going to change. I want you to be disturbed with inaction. You want another level of life? We gotta screw up. We gotta get out and step off the path. We gotta get out of the norm. We gotta get away from what's comfortable. You wanna take the island, you have to burn the boats. And in that journey, you are gonna mess up. You are gonna fail. You are gonna do things wrong.
We were created with everything. We are created from everything. There is no separation between us and the world in which we live. And so when we are breathing very shallow, protection, close yourself down. Shallow breathing, closing yourself down. When you start to learn to take in the breath of life, you are opening yourself to the entire world around us. And that opening of the world makes us part of this world, not a separate piece from one another.
It's very important as you hold on to that dream. There are moments when you're going to doubt yourself. There are rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass.
That in order to move forward, you move forward by taking the next right step. You don't have to know all the steps to make, just what is the next right move.
Don't worry about motivation. Motivation is fickle. It comes and goes. It is unreliable, and when you are counting on motivation to get your goals accomplished, you will likely fall short. So don't expect to be motivated every day to get out there and make things happen. You won't be. Don't count on motivation. Count on discipline.
I don't know if I should leap afraid. And then gather your courage on the way down. And if you don't get it before you hit, it's gonna hit anyway. I'd rather die leaping than on the edge figuring out how to get the courage to leap.
But once you turn down the loud voices of your ego and you start to hear the silent whispers of your inner hero, you start living the truth. And when you do that consistently, you become the most powerful person in every room.
As a child, my parents always told me you could be whatever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do. And it was something, I heard my parents saying it, but I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out in the world and I carried myself and I held my head high and I stood there and I looked people in their eyes and I talked to people as if I was deserving of everything that this planet has to offer. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
But all of you have some music playing. And all of you have a heroic mission. There's no accidents in this universe. We all show up here with a purpose. There's an intelligence that is a part of everything and everyone, and all of us are connected to it. And too many of us are afraid to listen to that music and march to it.
And what mountains could we move, I think? What gridlock could we eradicate if we were to join forces and work together in service of something greater than ourselves? You know, my deepest satisfaction and my biggest rewards have come from exactly that. Pick a problem, any problem, and do something about it, because to somebody who's hurting, something is everything.
Whoever you are, whatever that music is, however distant it may sound, however strange, however weird others may interpret it to be, don't get to the end of your life and know that you're going to leave and not have it played yet. Don't die with your music still in you.
If you take an oak tree seed and you put it in a 2-foot pot, that seed will never become the oak tree that oak trees are capable of becoming, because it's gonna get stifled by the 2-foot pot. Now check this out, ain't nothing wrong with the seed. Seed just fell prey to the environment. You are a seed from God. God made you in his likeness. He big, he vast. Don't you allow your environment to dictate the oak tree that you become. Don't die with this gift and don't never use it. All of y'all got this wonderful gift, but you gotta use it. Take your seed, take your gift. Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing.
I see those setbacks and nothing but character builders. It's done. Nothing you can do about it. But there's one thing you can do though. If it goes wrong, apply pressure to it. Ask the gods of the world, is this all you have? Can you give me some more? Put some and hate on that one. Put some grind on it. Keep on moving. Stay hard.
When you got an idea you want to move on, you might not have the money, you might not have the education, you might not have the support or the resources you need. What is that something that can keep us going, that will enable us to act on our dream? What's one of those keys? That's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible.
Quest to figure out how can a person get on a journey to dreams, goals, and aspirations, and the moment they hit opposition, adversity, or challenge, it doesn't mean anything to them anymore. So I said, man, is your happiness that cheap? Like, is your dedication that cheap? Is your level of commitment that cheap to where all it takes is for something not to go the way that I want it to go, and I'm not the same individual, and the level of which I once cared, I no longer care that deep about? Like, is it that cheap? Like, is that all it takes for me to get started and something doesn't go the way that I want it to go, and I'm not invested in it anymore? And what I've always wanted to do was be committed beyond circumstance.
The darkness. The sun doesn't shine every day. The storms will come. There are times when the nights will be long and dark, and you will be alone. Even in the darkest times, even in the strongest storms, even when the sun is blotted out and the world is falling apart, the darkness cannot extinguish your light.
What it's really going to take for you to get to that next level is to understand that the person that you are has gotten you as far as it's ever going to get you. So you've got to become a new person. You literally have to adapt. Now the great news is that is what humans are wired to do. Humans are the ultimate adaptation machine. When you're willing to put yourself under those kinds of stresses to become that new thing you want to become, to be the new person that you want to be, to go farther than anyone you know has ever gone, to be the GOAT, it is possible, but it demands a price. It demands a price.
You're not understanding that the adversity, the struggle, the hard times, the difficult things, the frustration, those are the things that create our skill sets. Those are the lessons that we learn that give us the skills to then put the skills into play and produce a better life.
Here's the deal. If you get to the top of the tree, all the fruit from the bottom at the top is gonna be there, son. So I don't need you focusing on cars and money and stuff. You're gonna get that. I need you to focus on why you were born in the first place. Why are you here on earth for this particular time? What are you doing here? Meaning my greatness and my excellence can't be compartmentalized to an individual, to an environment, to a circumstance, meaning it is my essence. I show up and I want to impact because this is who I am as an individual. It's my essence, meaning when the adversity and the opposition hit, like the only thing I've been trained to do was to think positive and look positive, and I've reverse engineered it.
No matter how hard the fight is, as long as you keep fighting, you win.
Your DNA is in your dream. Your DNA is in your dream.
Surrender is defeat. Only quitting is the end. Because the darkness only wins if you let it.
I don't care how dark it looked for you. I don't care what they just said to you. I don't care what the verdict is. I don't care what the haters say. Prayer changed things.
You constantly remind yourself, after every defeat, after every setback, every time you get knocked down, I've got a saying, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
We can talk about and whine about and cry about everything in our lives, but there's only one thing that's going to change it, and that's actually taking action towards the place that you want to go.
The world is not like the movies. The movies aren't real. They don't exist. But you do. And this life it's better than any movie there is. Movies are supposed to provoke emotion. They're supposed to make you feel something. But I have a better idea. Go out into the world and actually feel it.